Hi everyone, my name is Kim and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be talking about my experience in the British work environment or some of the things I noticed that were different between the British work environment and the US work environment. So last year I had gotten my first job here in the UK, and on the first day of work, I was asked if I wanted tea. So I said yes, and then I was asked if I wanted sugar or milk in my tea, and I told them, and they brought me my tea. And then maybe an hour later, I was asked again for tea, and I told them I was okay and that, thank you for asking. So then I think maybe 2 hours later, I was asked for tea again. So within that day, I think I was asked at least 4 times if I wanted tea. So I before I moved to UK, I knew that people here love their tea, but I didn't expect to be asked for if I wanted tea so many times within a day at my job. So in the US, this is quite uncommon. I mean, some people will ask if you want tea. If your coworker is getting something to drink, they may ask if you want something. But this is less common. Maybe once in a while someone will ask you. Um, but it's just, or at least not in my experience, it's not a common thing. And then people don't drink tea as much in the US. Because I'm not a big tea drinker myself. Maybe I'll have a like 1 cup of tea a day, but it's not something that I drink throughout the day. So the drinking tea thing, that was something that was different. The other thing that was different was that um, if it was someone's birthday at my job, then that person would bring in like a cake or something sweet to share with the office. So this is quite uncommon in the US. Usually it's the opposite. In the US, your manager, supervisor, coworkers, they may want to know when the day of your birthday so that they can bring you something for your birthday. That you may get a birthday card signed by your coworkers, or they might give you like a small gift or a small cake. Of course, this doesn't happen in all US work environments, but that's been my experience. I have never known anyone um, in my experience in the US to bring in something for their birthday. I do know that sometimes people will, like in the US, will randomly bring in like maybe some cookies, or here they're called biscuits, but same thing. They'll bring in some cake or something like that to share with the office. But that's more of a random thing. It's not necessarily on their birthday. So that does happen sometimes. And the other thing that I noticed, or the other thing that was different that I did, was that the company that I worked for, I didn't have to log in the amount of hours I worked in a day. I think that because I was a full-time employee, it was just assumed that I would work my full-time hours unless I told them that I needed a day off, or if I was working less hours than my normal full-time hours. So I wasn't used to that either. In the last job that I had, I worked for a government contract. And when you work for those types of jobs, you have to log in your hours every day. Like, you have to do it. Um, if you don't, there's like, you can get in trouble for that. I've never seen anybody get in trouble for it, but that's something that you're told, that you have to log your hours every day. So it's pretty much like an online system where you just go online, and if I worked 8 hours in a day, I just type 8 and then press save. And you just do that like every day, put in my hours, press save. And then I think like every 2 weeks you have to actually submit it. So I thought that was interesting, because I've never worked a job where I just came in and worked and it was just assumed that I'm working my full-time hours. So like I said, I'm not sure if that's common in all British work environments, but from my experience, that's how it was done. And the other little thing that was different, this isn't necessarily the work environment itself, but that here in the UK, people tend to get paid only once a month. I know there's probably some exceptions to this, but in the US, I've always gotten paid, when I worked full time, I always got paid every 2 weeks. That's pretty much the standard in the US. There are exceptions to that in the US as well. I think teachers in the US, I think they only get paid like once a month, but here it seems more standard for people to only get paid once a month. So that was quite an adjustment because I'm used to every 2 weeks I'm getting my paycheck. I'm getting my paycheck, or I'm getting direct deposit. I don't get a paycheck, get direct deposit. So I had to kind of get used to that. So those are just a few things that were different about my experience working in the UK. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will do my best to make more. Until next time, bye.